everyone, my name is Amani and I'm an Arabic ambassador here at UNL. Today I'm bringing a very special guest from the Lincoln community, my French teacher from high school, Sasha Van Zandt, or as her students call her, Madame Van Zandt. Follow me. Bonjour, Madame. Can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Yes, bonjour, Amani. My name is Sasha Van Zandt. I'm a teacher. I'm a French teacher at Lincoln Northwest High School. I've been teaching for 12 years now, just versing around languages, speaking of. I've learned several. I'm actually from a different country called Kazakhstan, so I grew up speaking Russian, and then I learned Kazakh and English and German and French and a little bit of Spanish. So languages is my huge passion, which is why I'm so excited to be here with you and to help you out in any way I can and learn about Arabic programs here at UNL.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. And I wanted to get your consent to share this video to UNL Arabic and UNL social media platforms, just so everyone knows like you're okay with being shared.
Absolutely. I've been here before, and as much as I enjoy student union and walking outdoor and the fountain area, I think this is something new, and I was actually really amazed at how, especially this other, not the quiet side, the side that permits more collaborative work, I enjoy these kind of conferences that sort of put you in the private, more, conducive to studying space, but also still make you feel like part of community. As people walk by, or the other side has this large studying area. I think this is really cool, and this is something that I would have loved as a student, but did not have. I think it would be fun to come and study and learn here.
Was your undergrad in Kearney?
It was.
Oh, did you guys not have a library like this one that we have?
Not like this, but yes, we did have a library, but I think for me also living off campus at the time, I would just go home and study at home oftentimes, because Kearney is pretty small, so I was just 5 minutes away from campus. So I would rush home, but I think in Lincoln is a bigger town, when you have time between classes, you have a space to stay and to, find space to learn, and I think that's just great.
Yeah. So out of all the courses offered, which one sounds the most interesting to you and why?
I think personally, when I was learning languages, I've always enjoyed classes that bring in the cultural aspects, and so when you talked about the class where you talked about just contemporary women's issues, and when you read different pieces of literature or poetry, and you brought up to discussion different types of issues, I think that would be really interesting for me, because it's the topic that is current, especially me coming from a third world country. It is a current topic of women taking different roles, stepping up for men, and so I think that would be the class that I would really enjoy. And it kind of sort of reminded me of a class in my graduate school when we did do women's literature class. And so in that class, it was just like you said, combined for French speakers or French students, and then students that came from English courses. And so we were able to read things together, but then French students would have to do discussions and writings all in French as well, which kind of crosses over with another class you talked about, where you talk about a culture, but then you have to do your discussions and writing in Arabic.
Yeah, the prophet ones. Where we start learning the story in Arabic, and then we go into discussing it in English.
Yes. Yeah. But in kind of thinking about the classes that you talked about, for me, when you start, because you talked about level 100 classes, 200 is all about, your traditional vocabulary and grammar. I think the fun part is those 300 level classes where you actually get to, I always say it, function in the language versus learning the language function, which is tedious and requires a lot of commitment, versus when you verse. That is the fun part.
Exactly.
That's why we're in the language learning.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the application of it. Yeah, I noticed that too because I started with the application class taking the Women in Quran. So that's the one that really got me into it. I'm like, okay, I have to learn more now.
Yeah, that's where it clicks and you're like, whoa, this is so cool. I'm just, you know, a part of it, and that's great.
Yeah.
So just very recently, I kind of, because I'm a Russian Korean, and so I kind of started to get, I think as you get older, you kind of start thinking where your roots are, you know, and so I started learning Korean on my own, and I think that shift from the alphabet to the alphabet that I completely do not know and cannot understand is a huge like learning curve for me, and just the different language structure and the way when you think in Korean is so much different from any other language that I've taken. So I think just shifting and adjusting that thinking of your own that you're used to is difficult to do, and knowing that okay, that's not how you would say, you know, in this language versus like how you say it in your own language. And this is something that if you remember in our French classes, I would say stop thinking, or you need to start thinking Frenchly, stop thinking Englishly, which I know are not real words. So
no,
those are my inventions.
I totally get that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the hard part, that you have to readjust. But the more you practice and practice, then it just becomes sort of a second nature. The reason why I brought up Korean, I think, because for people that start learning Arabic, it's a completely different system, right? Letter system. And so I think that may be very intimidating and repelling. Like, oh my gosh, you know, when I look, if I don't speak Spanish and I look at Spanish, I can sort of read because I understand the letters. I can maybe make out this French word or this German word, but with something that I can't even read can be quite intimidating. And so I think that's the difficult part, is to one step at a time, trust your teacher, you know, and then just keep tackling it.
Exactly, yeah. Like, I know with Arabic, a lot of Americans will tell me that looks like a bunch of squiggles. I don't know, that's crazy. Yeah. But once you really get into it, you realize, like, it's kind of a puzzle, like, pieces that you're putting together.
For sure. So one of the things that I think students should choose Arabic, in my experience, and just also coming from a Muslim country myself, people that I've met that speak Arabic are just some of the like kindest people I know. And then it just makes me as a teacher like tear up, because one word that I know in Arabic is shukran.
Shukran, yeah.
Which means thank you. And sorry, it's kind of emotional for me, but because kids, my kids in my French classroom that speak Arabic, they walk out and they say shukran madam, shukran madam. And so to me, this is like, I don't get a lot of thank yous. You know how high school kids are. They're just like, peace out. You know, a lot of them are grateful, but it's sort of not a culture.
Yeah.
But just the fact that, you know, if I bring cookies to class, it's always shukran madam, you know, and just that stuff is so important and so telling to me about the culture. And I think it's just a fun culture to learn. And I people that I've met that do speak Arabic, that are from Morocco or from Iraq, have amazing family values, and I think this is something that is great, and that tradition should be continued.
Oh, that's really great to hear.
So,
thank you.
yeah,
thank you.
That was my biggest thing that I'm like, when I was reflecting about your question, I'm like, what words do I know? And then it like
I'm sure it's like it was probably much different going from Southwest to like the north side of town.
Yes.
Because the diversity is much more over there. So you see like a lot more Iraqis, a lot more like just a lot of cultures over there that we didn't really see as much at Southwest.
Absolutely, yeah. And I even worked with this parent. They're from Iran, and so she would come in and she would give me a hug, the mom, you know, and thank you for helping my son. Thank you. Also shukran. You know? And it's just, I don't know. I've always had this good feeling about people that come from, you know, Iran, Iraq, from Morocco. I don't think, from Sudan as well.
Yeah, that's right. We have a lot of Sudanese,
And it's just so interesting to learn their stories, and it's a completely different lifestyle, just life experiences, and I think it's great and good for our hearts to learn their stories.
Lots of chocolates.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Wow. Oh gosh, I love chocolate. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for giving me your time today.
Of course. Thanks, Amani.
Of